Hello everybody, Happy New Year to all of you. Welcome to the first video of 2012 for the Russell 2000 and US equity markets. It's Nick McDonald here, and I look forward to another year of videos and bringing these updates to you weekly, and hopefully having another good year like we had last year, and really being able to assist you with your trading. Please, I said this in the last video last year, I would also like to say it just for this first video this year. If there's anything we can do for you, any particular ways that we could help, anything you'd like to see on these videos, then please do let us know. Please make contact. We'd love to hear from you and have your feedback. Now, looking here at the Russell, we've got the monthly chart on the screen. I want to do a little bit of a bigger picture outlook as well, since this is the first video for the year. Looking at this and looking at where we are, we have a very, very bullish monthly chart. I said this often last year, so really just reconfirming, but we have a really bullish monthly chart. One thing though is that the trend is a little bit more erratic than, say, your typical type trend. So let's come back here to this trend from 03 through to 08. So yeah, we had quite a big move up, but then we just kind of got these nice just moves up, nice pullback, move up, around about 50% pullbacks each time before the trend reversed it down. This time though, we just got quite a bit more of an erratic trend. We had a big move up, little move down, big move up, big move down. At the moment, we kind of don't know if we're having a big move up or if we're going sideways or what we're doing here. But ultimately, the most important thing is we have made this higher low. So we've come up, we've made the higher high between here and here, we've made the higher low. We are uptrending. It's a little bit of a more erratic trend, but actually it's quite a nice looking trend. Believe it or not, with all of the bad news out there, and all of the mixed economic news out there, there's actually a really nice, strong, longer-term trend here on this chart, which has been going from kind of 2009 through to now. This is bullish. What we need to see, though, is we need to see price hold above this level and see how we got 730 marked in. This has been some key resistance back in 08, 09, 010, and even coming right back here into 06 and 07. And we had resistance here, and then we're just holding above it. And so far this month, we're just holding above that level. We've rejected it on 2 occasions. It's looking very, very strong. This is looking good for a push up to 850. Now, whether that happens in a couple of months or whether it happens over 12 months, I don't really mind. But I do believe that we'll get up and we'll test 850 and above this year. I think we'll get up and we'll get above those levels, and it might even happen in the early part, in the first 3 to 6 months. But so long as our technical analysis here holds true, I think the Russell will be going higher. Let's just come down and have a look at it on some lower time frames and see what we need to see for this to happen. So while we had some support propping us up, what we've got up in the way here, this is looking at a weekly chart now. We've got this 760 level, and I can't stress enough, or 760 to 765. I can't stress enough how important it is for price to break this in order to get to 850. Now, of course, it has to break it to get to 850, but it's a major, major level. If we start to move down now, and let's say we start to test 650 again before we actually break up above, say, 770, then it's going to be looking quite bad indeed, because we'll have put in a lower high. We'll be starting to show signs of this weekly trend reversing. At the moment, the weekly trend is intact. It's made higher highs, it's made higher lows. We're pushing up into some resistance here, certainly proving the resistance once again. We need to get through it. If we do get through it, yeah, there's a bit of resistance at 800, but we should get to 850 with relative ease. We'll probably, move to 800 from there, have a bit of a pullback, probably back into around 765, and then push on up again to 850. But we need to get up there, and we'll yet to see now, of course, whether that happens in the first part of this year, let's say in January, February this year, whether it takes a little bit longer. But I am swaying to the side if it breaks up through there quite early in the year. Let's just come and have a look at this on a daily chart now. And we can start to see in just a little bit more detail. 750 where we are now is proving resistance as well. We've got the 765 level just above, and then after that we've only got 800 and really blue skies until 850. So the zone we are in now is really crucial, but I really like it to the upside. See how it's forming this flat resistance level, and even though we broke it here during a low liquidity kind of time over the festive season, but we broke up and we rejected. But see how we're making higher lows all the way up through here. See how, I'm just going to mark these in, but see how we've got higher lows here than the previous ones. But each time we pull back in, we keep on making higher lows. It's showing us there's more buyers and sellers, and we keep on pushing and pushing, even right up into here. We keep on making higher lows. That's signs that we're likely to push up through that resistance level, because there is more buying and selling taking place, even though we have a lot of selling taking place at this one area around about 750. So I think it'll push up through it. Let's have a quick look at some of these cash indices. Have a look at the Dow. This is a little bit stronger on the daily chart, so you can see that it's already pushed up through its resistance. Not majorly, not terribly convincingly, but certainly it's in an uptrend. It's just had a pullback into its moving averages. Looks like pushing up again. The monthly chart is in a very similar situation. We've got 13,000 up here at these highs. Will we get up and test 14,000? Well, we're yet to see it, but certainly 13,000 is well and truly on the cards, and that's around about the equivalent of getting up to 850 for the Russell. Coming in and just having a look at the S&P. This has, it's probably one of the, I wouldn't say, well, I'm not sure if weak is the right word, but this has got a little bit more to get up through. So 1300 just seems like quite a big level. So I want to watch this one closely, and it's just that little bit closer to doing it. So it's a little bit closer to testing it. So I want to watch 1300. The S&P will test 13, certainly before the Russell tests 850. So we want to see what happens there. And then it's also got a lot of resistance up at these highs if it can get up to test these highs. So basically the S&P just looks like it's got more work to do to break up and actually get up through these highs of 2011. So as I say, weak is not the right word, but more testing for the S&P, I believe, to do it. However, if the other indices do, then the S&P will follow suit. And very quickly, just looking at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is certainly right up there, very close to doing it, very close to being at decade-long highs. If we could just get up through here, if we just zoom in and have a look, the candles are still bullish. Even after we've had these sell-offs back here, we've had bullish candles for 1, 2, 3, and now we're into the 4th month. I think we'll be getting up through 2,400 and above pretty soon. The NASDAQ does look strong. Coming and looking at it here, it needs to break up and hold those levels, but again, we're starting to just build these higher lows, even as we're making equal highs up around 2,400. So it is looking certainly much more bullish than bearish. Coming back in and just wrapping things up here for the Russell, I am expecting a bullish 2012. Anything can happen in the shorter term, of course, and things can change, and I'll change my view quite quickly if the markets show me that I should be. But for now, everything looks bullish from a daily chart to a weekly to a monthly. The biggest concern here, and the place I'm watching the closest, is on this weekly chart to see, do we get through this resistance level 765, or do we actually make a lower high now and move down? Because if we make lower highs and break down through 700 and start to test 650, it won't be looking good. But if we can just get up through 765, then we've got a pretty clean run, and I think it'll be good confirmation of the markets going higher and pushing higher. I expect that to happen in the first, let's say 3 to 6 months of this year, if not earlier. And in the early part now, in the next week, I'm certainly looking for this to be coming up and testing 765 and potentially even breaking it. Certainly within the next week or two, I'd like to see it breaking that. I'd like to be talking about that on future videos very soon, and start to look up at how soon we're likely to be testing 800 and 850. Let's see, here we go, ladies and gents. We had quite a successful year last year at getting these things right, but as you know, can't be right every single time. We need to watch the markets very, very closely and be able to adapt and change views quite quickly if the market tells us to. Happy trading. Have a fantastic 2012. I'm looking forward to working with you, and I'll speak to you on next week's video.